Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer channel episode, and in today's episode I bring to you another article review and critique courtesy of the Daily Mail Online, published for Female, and this article is by Richard Simpson and Sophia Brennan and was published on the 7th of May 2018. And let's go straight into the headline, which reads: "A palace fit for a princess. How 21-room apartment 1 at Kensington Palace has been hurriedly renovated for Harry and Meghan, making them next door neighbours with Kate and William." Well, let's refer to her as Catherine from now on. But yes, we have news, or at least we have speculation of an update about where Harry and Meghan will reside following their wedding. And here we have a photograph of Kensington Palace being renovated. But let's have a little bit of a further look at this. So pictures from last November show renovations were already underway before Harry and Meghan announced their engagement. The 21-room apartment is right next to William and Catherine's apartment 1A. The Duke and Duchess of Gloucester have moved out to make way for the newlyweds. Harry is said to have kept a close eye on the work and is eager to move in. Well, first of all, can I just say that if these photographs were taken in November, this is the first time that they have seen the light of day. I haven't heard at all that any renovation works have been carried out on this scale. Second of all, yes, this is the Gloucester's apartment, which they have lived in for many years. Now, one thing that does cross my mind straight away is that could this possibly be routine maintenance work? Obviously, the palace has a programme of maintenance work. Could the roof just merely, or that section of roof, be undergoing a renovation? In this picture you can see here, you can quite clearly see that the high point to the left is actually the clock tower. Now, the clock tower, as far as I'm aware, doesn't actually form part of apartment 1. So, is it just a larger programme of works on the palace? Let's read some more article and find out. It says Harry and Meghan are set to become William and Catherine's neighbours at Kensington Palace after their wedding, and it seems that preparations started for the big move as early as last November. As the world's media gathered on one side of Kensington Palace late last year for Harry and Meghan's engagement announcement, some rather more hands-on work was going on the other side. While all attention was on the happy couple, workers on the west side of the building were trying hurriedly to remove the gleaming white plastic covering in double quick time, so as not to draw attention to renovations. Well, they certainly did keep it under wraps because, like I say, this has escaped many people's notice until now. Beneath the sheets, it was plain to see that renovations to the roof of apartment 1 had been happening at lightning quick pace, after only a few weeks, with new mortar pointing over the chimney stacks clearly visible. Panoramic pictures of the Kensington Palace back then show the entire apartment 1 still shrouded in white tarpaulins, and Harry has been taking a very close interest in the renovations to apartment 1. He keeps popping round and asking when it will be ready. He seems in a real hurry to move in with Meghan, a source said. Well, again, I'm always very sceptical when it just says a source. I do like to know who. Could this be made up? I don't know. But, like I say, this still could be a programme of works that are just being carried out as part of routine maintenance, which could mean that the Gloucesters have to vacate the apartment whilst these important, crucial renovations are being undertaken. But let's continue anyway. According to reports, Meghan has persuaded Harry to give up smoking and cut down on alcohol in the hope of starting a family after their wedding, meaning that they would need a larger home than their 2-bedroom cottage sooner rather than later. Well, we know that Harry has got his eyes on larger accommodation, of which none is presently available. The only apartment at the moment which could be even viable are Diana's old apartments 8 and 9, which have been separated following her death and used as offices. Now, one of the plans that was speculated as being underfoot was a new basement under the orangery, which was supposed to house office and staff accommodation. Now, if that goes ahead, it hasn't been built yet, that would see a multiple story basement underneath the orangery. Potentially, apartments 8 and 9 could become re-available. Now, this is the apartment that I thought could have been earmarked for Harry and Meghan, so possibly Diana's old apartments. However, I always thought that if an apartment, a large apartment, became available sooner, then that could also be something that could be considered. So I don't think that the Gloucesters would have been requested to vacate their property. I certainly don't think that would have happened. They may certainly have offered their property, which could have been accepted. They could have chosen perhaps to downsize. After all, they don't have any children living there presently, so they could potentially downsize. Now, this apartment is next door to William and Catherine, so it makes sense, but I'm still not entirely sure whether this is actually happening. So let's carry on reading and see if we can find any more clues. So, pictures from last November show that renovations were already underway on the 21-bedroom apartment that will become Harry and Meghan's marital home. Well, I think it's still quite early to be saying that it will become their home, but we can certainly clearly see the work being carried out on the apartment. And some more photographs there. And there we see the main part of Kensington Palace, with obviously the clock tower in the distance rising above, and apartment 1 shrouded in the plastic sheeting. Royal courtiers were last year keen to let it be known that the couple would immediately be living at Nottingham Cottage, Harry's bachelor pad, in the grounds of Kensington Palace for the foreseeable future. Well, that is most certainly true. Whether or not they're going to move into apartment 1 or waiting for apartments 8 and 9, Diana's old apartments, they most certainly will be residing at Nottingham Cottage for the foreseeable future, of course excluding whichever country property they are given, and I will address this in a separate video. But insiders have known for some time that it was always Harry's intention to move out of the cosy 2-bed not cot as soon as possible and into apartment 1, a stunning 21-room wing at the palace. And I do believe that it has one more room than William and Catherine's, which has 20 rooms. Soon after their engagement, the Queen's cousin Richard, the Duke of Gloucester, 73, whose 3 children are now grown up, offered to vacate his splendid 21-room apartment 1 at the palace so Harry and Meghan could have it. Well, it makes sense that he may have offered, but like I say, I certainly don't think that he would have been forced to vacate it. Now, I'm not going to read the bit about who's lived there because I can address that in a separate video. So, the Gloucesters are set to move into the smaller but very comfortable apartment soon to be vacated by the Queen's private secretary, Sir Christopher Gate. When they do move in, it will make the couple neighbours to 20-room apartment 1A, which Harry's brother Prince William and his growing family live in. William and Catherine also lived at Nottingham Cottage before they started a family. It almost seems like a rite of passage for the 2 royal brothers. Work on apartment 1 is now almost completed, just in time for Harry's wedding to Meghan in less than 2 weeks' time. Several years ago, a royal spokesman said that Harry had set his sights on grander accommodation at Kensington Palace, but refused to confirm which apartment it was, other than to say it was currently occupied. Well, of course, that still could mean Diana's old apartments because it's occupied as offices, so that still doesn't actually confirm that it's apartment 1. So let's carry on. In 2014, another member of the family, Princess Michael, suggested in an interview with Tatler that apartment 1 would be perfect for Harry to move into when he got older and wanted to start a family. Well, I agree. She did say that, and I agree that apartment 1 would be an ideal family home. Princess Michael of Kent said that William and Catherine have a lovely big apartment next to the Gloucesters, who I think will leave their enormous apartment because their children have gone. She added, "They're rattling around this huge space and I think Prince Harry might go there. Then they'd be next door to each other, a very good move. It has been rumoured for some time that Harry had his eyes on another larger apartment in Kensington Palace for him and Meghan to move into. The rumoured new apartment was said to be much closer to the huge wing that has been home for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge since September, when they moved back to London from Anmer Hall on the Sandringham estate to coincide with Prince George starting school in Battersea." Well, of course, they have been residing at apartment 1A all the time since it was completed, but they were using Anmer Hall as their main base. Indeed, apartment 1 and apartment 1A are as close together as it is possible to be. They are linked by adjoining doors, so Harry and Meghan can come and go to see Catherine and William, and also visit young Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and of course Prince Louis whenever they choose. And I do believe that apartments 1 and apartment 1A were once one whole wing of the palace. And here we see further pictures of the building work being carried out. Now, it's important to note that apartment 1A also has a private garden, which of course would make it even more ideal for Harry and Meghan. Earlier this year came the first hint that Harry had chosen apartment 1, when a line of fir trees was planted to obscure the view of the apartment's entrance from the public walking up and down Kensington Palace Gardens, a road 100 metres to the west of Kensington Palace, where some of London's richest people live, including Tamara Eccleston and Roman Abramovich. Well, a hedge was planted, but it could also be to help screen William and Catherine, because it does screen a patch of grass which is used potentially for royal children playing or royal dog walking. Sources say that in recent days, Meghan has taken out her beloved dogs for a walk in the green, which is now obscured from public view behind the trees. The Duchess of Cambridge is known to use the same piece of grass to walk the family dog Lupo. Ah, well, there we go. Confirmed. They do use it to walk dogs. The couple will also be sharing quarters with Princess Eugenie, who lives at Ivy Cottage, a 3-bedroom property that was previously the family home of the deputy head of the palace's property section. And that concludes the article. Well, all I have to say is, we haven't had definitive proof that they are definitely going to move into apartment 1A. I think we should wait until the official confirmation of this, but it most certainly is an option. It still could just be routine renovation work on the palace, which could have required the Gloucesters to temporarily move out. Harry and Meghan's larger accommodation could still be Diana's old apartments. So I would hold that thought until we actually hear an official confirmation from Harry and Meghan as to where they will officially live. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know whether you think apartment 1 would be suitable for Harry and Meghan. I certainly think it would. In fact, I prefer that option to that of Diana's old apartments. But like I say, I don't think the Gloucesters have been forced out. That is the apartment that's been allocated for Harry and Meghan, then I'm sure it will have been given freely by the Gloucesters. So, like I say, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So, from me in Shropshire, goodbye.